Have you ever stood in the ruins of an ancient city and wondered what stories its stones could tell? What secrets lie buried beneath centuries of dust? Today, we're embarking on an epic journey through time, exploring the colossal empires that once ruled the world, only to vanish into the pages of history. From the sun-scorched sands of Egypt to the windswept plains of Mongolia, we'll uncover where empires rose, why they soared to unimaginable heights, and how, inevitably, they fell. Let's start our journey in Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Here, around 2300 BC, the Akkadian Empire emerged, arguably the world's first empire. Led by the legendary Sargon of Akkad, they united diverse city-states under a single rule. Creating a blueprint for all future empires, they standardized measurements, developed a postal service, and built incredible cities. But their reign was relatively short-lived. A combination of internal rebellions and severe drought crippled their agricultural base, leading to their collapse after less than 200 years. It's a powerful first lesson: no matter how mighty, an empire is only as strong as its environment and the unity of its people. Now, let's sail across the Mediterranean to the banks of the Nile, where the Egyptian Empire forged a legacy that has fascinated us for millennia. For nearly 3,000 years, pharaohs ruled as living gods, commissioning breathtaking pyramids and temples that still stand today. Egypt's power was built on the predictable flooding of the Nile, which provided fertile soil for agriculture, and a highly centralized, bureaucratic government. They were masters of engineering, medicine, and astronomy. So what brought this seemingly eternal kingdom to its knees? It was a slow decline, a death by 1,000 cuts. A series of costly wars, invasions by foreign powers like the Sea Peoples and later the Syrians and Persians, and internal power struggles between priests and pharaohs gradually eroded their strength. Finally, in 30 BC, the death of Cleopatra VII marked the end of the last Egyptian dynasty, and Egypt became a province of the rising Roman Empire. And what an empire Rome was! From a small city-state on the Italian peninsula, Rome grew to dominate the entire Mediterranean basin, an area they called Mare Nostrum Our Sea. At its peak in the 2nd century AD, the Roman Empire stretched from Britain to Mesopotamia. They gave us aqueducts, straight roads that connected their vast territories, the foundations of modern law, and the Latin language. The Pax Romana, or Roman peace, was a period of unprecedented stability and prosperity for over 200 years. So how did this titan fall? Historians have debated this for centuries. It wasn't a single event but a perfect storm of crises. The empire simply became too big to govern effectively. Political instability saw emperors assassinated one after another. Constant barbarian invasions on its borders drained the treasury. Economic troubles like inflation and over-reliance on slave labor crippled the economy. A devastating plague swept through, wiping out a significant portion of the population. Finally, in 476 AD, the last Western Roman emperor was deposed, marking a symbolic end, though the Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantium, would continue for another 1,000 years. Leaving Europe behind, let's ride east across the vast steppes of Central Asia. In the early 13th century, a leader named Temujin united the nomadic tribes of Mongolia. The world would come to know him as Genghis Khan. What he unleashed was the largest contiguous land empire in human history. The Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the heart of Europe. Their success was built on military genius, brilliant cavalry tactics, psychological warfare, and an incredible tolerance for the different cultures and religions they conquered. They established the yam, a sophisticated communication and postal system that rivaled Rome's. They revitalized the Silk Road, creating a new era of trade and cultural exchange between East and West. But like the others, this massive empire couldn't last forever. After the death of Genghis Khan's grandsons, the empire fractured into several successor states, like the Yuan dynasty in China and the Golden Horde in Russia. The sheer size and cultural diversity that were once strengths became weaknesses, as different regions developed their own identities and ambitions. The Mongol moment, though explosive, was ultimately fleeting. Let's cross the Atlantic now, to a world unknown to the empires of the Old World. In the Andes Mountains of South America, the Inca Empire flourished. In just over a century, they built a sophisticated society stretching for thousands of miles. Their capital, Cusco, was a marvel of stonework. They created a complex network of roads and bridges through treacherous mountain terrain and used a unique system of knotted cords called quipus for record-keeping. Their society was highly organized, centered around a divine emperor, the Sapa Inca. Their fall was swift and brutal. In 1532, a small band of Spanish conquistadors led by Francisco Pizarro arrived. They brought with them guns, steel, and horses, things the Inca had never seen. But their most devastating weapon was invisible disease. Smallpox, which had arrived in the Americas a few years earlier, had already ravaged the Inca population, even killing the emperor and sparking a disastrous civil war between his sons. Pizarro exploited this division, captured the new emperor, and brought the mighty Inca Empire crashing down with astonishing speed. It's a tragic reminder of how contact between two worlds can lead to devastation. From the Americas, we journey back across the seas to the Ottoman Empire, one of the longest-lasting empires in history. Founded around 1300, it grew from a small Turkish state in Anatolia to control vast territories in the Middle East, North Africa, and southeastern Europe. In 1453, they achieved the seemingly impossible by conquering Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, and renaming it Istanbul. For centuries, the Ottomans were a major world power, a center of art, science, and trade. Their decline was a slow, gradual process, earning them the nickname the Sick Man of Europe in the 19th century. They struggled to modernize in the face of rapidly industrializing European powers. A series of military defeats, nationalist uprisings within their diverse territories, and economic problems chipped away at their power. The final blow came with their defeat in World War I, and in 1922, the last Ottoman Sultan was overthrown, making way for the modern Republic of Turkey. Our final stop is with an empire on which the sun, it was said, never set, the British Empire. Beginning with small trading posts in the 16th and 17th centuries, Britain leveraged its powerful navy and the fruits of the Industrial Revolution to build the largest empire in history. By the early 20th century, it ruled over nearly a quarter of the world's land area and population. They spread the English language, their legal system, and sports like cricket and football across the globe. But the seeds of its downfall were sown in its very creation. The immense cost of two world wars drained Britain's resources. At the same time, nationalist movements demanding independence grew stronger across its colonies, from India to Africa. The world was changing, and the age of colonial empires was coming to an end. Beginning with the independence of India and Pakistan in 1947, a wave of decolonization swept the globe, and the British Empire peacefully, for the most part, transformed into the Commonwealth of Nations. So, what have we learned from this whirlwind tour of history? We see common threads weaving through these epic stories. Empires rise through a combination of military strength, strong leadership, economic prosperity, and technological advantage. But they often fall due to a predictable set of challenges: overexpansion, internal division, economic collapse, and the inability to adapt to new challenges. Every ruin we see today was once a bustling center of a powerful civilization that believed its reign would last forever. It's a humbling lesson about the cycles of history and the impermanence of power. The story of empires is the story of humanity, our ambition, our genius, and our ultimate fragility. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through time. What other empires fascinate you? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you in the next one.